Hello and good day to Miss Anne and fellow audience. Today we are going to talk about major obstacles in life. What are major obstacles in life? Well, it can be defined as challenges, difficulties, or barriers that one may encounter in their personal, professional, or even life journey. For starters, let's see at the first example here, which is the financial challenges. Financial challenges, for examples, are when you don't have enough money to buy a breakfast or even save enough for your house uh, house installment, maybe. So here we can see that to overcome this obstacle, we need to create a detailed budget to understand our income, expenses, and savings. Then we can also establish or replenish an emergency fund to cover unexpected expenses. And then we need to identify and cut unnecessary or luxury expenses from our budget so that we have enough money to save or even spend on necessary important things. Next, we see the impact of the financial challenges on our life. First, we will begin to prioritize basic needs and eliminate non-essential spendings to avoid wasting money. A shift in lifestyle also occur where changes occur in our housing, transportation, and leisure activities, where we decide that we need to ride a bus rather than go out on our own car or even a motorcycle to save up the fuel expenses. Then we learn to manage money effectively. Then we learn that a skill is very crucial where you need to manage money effectively. Lesson learned from this obstacle, which is financial challenges. Firstly, it is important for budgeting and planning, followed by the commitment in order to manage income and expenses effectively. And then we learned that there is a need for an emergency fund become evident during financial difficulties. Also, setting and working toward long-term financial goals becomes a priority. And secondly, we can look here at the health issues. For examples, where you develop a chronic illness or even such minor injuries where you got into an accident and then this problem occurs. So, firstly, to overcome the obstacles, we need to consult with healthcare professionals to accurately diagnose and understand our health issues. And then we need to adopt a healthy diet that is rich in fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. This is to ensure we have a secure and healthy diet, healthy meal every day so that our body can recover much faster and much quicker. Lastly, we need to manage stress through techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or yoga because our mental is very important for body recovery also. Then we see the impact of this particular obstacle on our life, which first we begin to cope with the physical and emotional toll of health problem is mentally exhausting, which means it is very difficult to manage our daily chores when you have this side effect when you become easily tired or easily become injured because you have chronic illness or perhaps even minor cuts or injuries. And then we begin to experience social isolation, which occurs as individuals may withdraw from social activities due to their physical limitations or concerns about their condition, such as they cannot join a particular sport because they have a broken leg, and that made them become perhaps isolated from their own family or friend group because they cannot join and just sit by the side and watch others play and cannot interact at all. And lastly, we see pursuits and activities that once brought joy may be limited or abandoned due to the health constraints. The lesson we learn from this obstacle from health issues is that we begin to reprioritize our goals, relationships, and activities because we start to place greater emphasis on what truly matters. Then we learn to ask questions, seek second opinions, and actively participate in decisions regarding our health because we alone are not good enough to ensure our body is really healthy or maybe perhaps injured, but we never know. So we need to pursue or seek help from medical professionals. And then we need to foster a sense of, and then this obstacle fosters a sense of empowerment and an understanding of one's capacity to face adversity. Why? Because after recovering ourselves from perhaps an accident and our injury is much worse, but we manage to recover, then we become very confident that we can always survive and fight for another day and learn that our life is truly what's matter in the present. Next, we look at this next major obstacle, which is relationship struggles. For examples, when you have uh, an argument with your wife or husband, or even you have just a simple conflict with your siblings. First, we look at the overcoming or steps to overcome the obstacles, which is be open and honest with each other to rebuild trust. Because trust is the key of relationship, the pillar of relationship. Then we need to keep emotions in check during disagreements and avoid escalating conflicts. And lastly, we need to listen attentively to your partner's or even family's perspective without interrupting, because communication is key. Then the impact of the obstacles on our life is we might have chronic stress from relationship issues that may have physical consequences, such as sleep disturbances, headaches, or other stress-related ailments. And we might develop an unhealthy coping mechanism, such as substance abuse or even a small disorder, which is overeating. We tend to eat a lot when we are very much stressed after having an argument with someone we love. And then involved children can have their emotional well-being and development affected when they are watching this argument unfolds upon them between their own parent. And then we look at this lesson learned from this relationship struggles is that we learn effective communication is crucial for understanding each other's needs, feelings, and concerns. And then we learn that self-reflection is key to understanding personal needs, behaviors, and patterns. And last, we look at the personal growth really contributes to the health of the relationship. It's not just about a teamwork, but also a personal work to ensure your relationship on the positive side and on the harmony side. And last but not least, personal development and self-doubt is still one of our major obstacles in life, especially in this era. And to overcome the obstacle, we can start to understand that self-doubt is a common human experience and accepting it is the first step towards overcoming it. Then we can ask ourselves whether our doubts are based on evidence or assumptions. Because if it's on assumptions, then it's not necessarily a really that bad of an idea. It's probably just your feeling and you need to keep doing what you're doing best rather than thinking everything is negative. Next, which is very important, we need to share our feelings with friends, family, or even a mentor, a teacher, someone that you trust a lot. Then we can look at this impact of self-doubt on our life, which is persistent self-doubt may lead to feelings of hopelessness and contribute to depression. This is very common in nowadays situation where people, rather than seek help, they tend to keep it to themselves, and this lead to depression and a comic of suicide, which is very bad in today's era. And then we might develop a fear of making the wrong decision that may decisions that may result in avoidance of taking risks. We become afraid of things that we need to decide. And then we end up not doing anything, which is much worse than taking decisions. And then we develop a fear that of not meeting certain standards that may lead to chronic dissatisfaction and perfectionism. This is also common among students because they tend to try to reach their parents' expectation, and this unconsciously develop perfectionism within themselves, which they may not have realized that are a very bad side effect for the students because they will always believe they are the worst kind of people when they cannot meet their parents' standards or expectations. And then finally, we look at the lesson learned, which is doubting ourselves will only lead to regrets but not results. So we need to get out of our comfort zone and be not afraid to take on difficult challenge heads on. We need to be brave. We need to convince ourselves first in order for us to move forward. So to conclude, we have talked about four major obstacles in life, starting with financial challenges, and then health issues, and then relationship struggles, and finally, and with personal development and self-doubt. These four obstacles are just of some of the many major events that are going to teach us very important value in life. So we must always remember, it's always the baby steps. Rushing to solve the obstacles or challenges will do no good. So until then, from me, see you next time and thank you for listening. Bye bye.